Hello, my name is Ashraf Tejani and I'm the course leader for Interaction Design and Computing. So, to tell you a little bit about myself, I have been involved in the digital kind of environment since '91, in fact a little bit before that, and within the university I'm a senior teaching fellow and enterprise coordinator, so I engage a lot with companies and external organizations. In terms of digital work, I've been involved in a number of activities developing kiosk applications, tourist systems, roadshow campaigns, a content management system, and been very central to the development of our undergraduate and postgraduate and short courses within the department and across the university. I'm also engaged with industry through what are called knowledge transfer partnerships, which are government-funded projects. Typically, that brings in £150,000 per project. And I've also been actively involved internationally, working for the university in India and Uzbekistan. Broad range of consultancy experience across the range of organizations, as you can see from the slide. In terms of the MS Interaction Design and Computing, and one of the differences here from my colleagues is I haven't discussed the course team. And the reason is that the approach we have with this course is to have a very tight core structure and then to share modules from across the portfolio of modules within the department. So what that enables you to do is to create a career pathway that suits your own aspirations. So, and here's an example of one of the focused areas that we are now involved in, which is that to deal with mobile and location-based services, to deal with IoT, to deal with augmented reality applications, and in fact virtual reality is another aspect of the work that we undertake within the modules and within the staff and their particular research and consultancy interests. So this course itself has recently been validated, but it has a pedigree going back to 1995 when we had the first MSc in multimedia within Europe. And it's evolved over that time into a variety of things, dealing from originally what would have been CD-ROM or computer-based products, through to the web, through to what is mobile-focused today. And we're looking at taking it forward to the next generation of technologies, which may be based around Internet of Things. So the aim of the course is to enable graduates to both understand design and develop solutions that address the emergent digital economies of the world, and to give a particular focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. So we want graduates from this program to really be at the cutting edge and leading by example in the sector. And so that's the reason that we have this flexible program of study, which enables you to take a career path in interaction design or mobile and digital solutions or data and data science or analytics solutions, or even some of the emergent systems out there. And really to base it within the kind of fact that London is a major startup capital, and if not the biggest in Europe, it's only one of the top 3 in the world, so it's a big area. So in that sense, we examine a number of areas, including human-computer interaction and the user experience, interactivity through gaming, augmented reality, virtual reality, through interaction through mobile devices and beacons, and so on. We also very much focused on the ideas of project management and entrepreneurship. The ideal scenario for us is for our graduates to be able to start their own enterprises within a few years of graduating. And to support that, we also look at emerging areas where there is a big skills demand. So this includes web mobile interaction development, but also includes data and analytics sciences. And machine learning is part of this. And for that, we work closely with our colleagues on the other 2 degrees that I've already spoken. So in order to support this, and given the fact that these industries are becoming more demanding, our requirements for the course are to have computer literate graduates who have had some degree of programming experience, either on their degrees or through work. And the aim of this, or the reason for this, is because we can then push the kind of students much further on using technologies and scripting languages to develop appropriate solutions. We will, of course, consider people from a variety of different backgrounds based on their individual experiences and kind of profiles. And that can include mature candidates. So even if you don't have a first degree, but you are a mature candidate who has a number of years of experience in a related field, we would also be very happy to consider you for the course. International applicants have to, as Simon has already said, meet the IELTS requirement of 6.5 with a minimum of 6 in all of the elements for that. Why the University of Westminster? I think my colleagues have been very clear on this and given good examples, so I'll kind of move on. But to say that we are very much driven towards practical skill sets rather than just theory. So it's not about learning theory, but it's about looking at how we can apply theory and practice towards giving you the right skills so you can go and work or develop your own careers. And as I've said earlier, the course itself is based around having a very tight core structure and then taking modules that enable you to select your particular preferences from across a broad range of courses that we have. So the core modules that all students must take are digital interaction management and entrepreneurship, usability and user experience design, and then research methods and professional practice, which is common to all of our postgraduate degrees, and finally the interaction design and computing project. The project itself is 1/3 of the degree, and it's to enable you to produce something of significant substance. So if I quickly go through some of the core modules, digital interaction management and entrepreneurship is about the whole process, the methods of design, the methods of management, the ideas of entrepreneurship, and the whole ideas of process. And we explore this from the start of the exploratory phase through creation and development of both concepts and business propositions for startups. So you would essentially be working on a startup idea. And you can see there on the slide is an example of this year's work where one team were looking at a mobile app startup for managing student time, kind of timekeeping. The other core module is usability and user experience design, and this is very much focused on the design fundamentals by using both applied theory and practice. And it actually connects to the previous module in that the assessment is shared across both modules. So the idea is that you have a much broader and developed integration. And that also enables students to work alongside those colleagues from other degrees. So on this course, for example, this year we had 2 advanced software engineering students that were part of the core teams, and they worked on the design ideas. And as I said, there are a number of option modules that in addition can be taken, some which are part of the interaction design computing course, and those include emergent and social interactive platforms, which is where we look at next generation or emerging technologies. So this year there's been a focus, for example, on IoT and augmented reality products. Some students have been looking at beacon technology. The other option is games interaction technology, which is very much focused on the idea of gaming and user interfaces using games technologies. And the third option is mobile and ubiquitous computing, which is a module that looks at the fact that mobile technology is at the heart of interactions in our physical environments. And so the idea is to look at how we use mobile communications along with, for example, sensors or other devices within the environment, and to then have a much richer relationship. There are options that students are also able to take from across our degrees, and there's a list of those on the right hand side. And you'll notice right at the bottom is something called the free choice module. And that means that even if a module is not listed here, but it has application to your particular career interests, then that is a potential option that could be taken. The caveat in all these cases, of course, is that the module is available and that you would be suitable for it, so that it's something that is not going to give you difficulties. And in terms of emergent and social interactive platforms, here, for example, is a screenshot of a previous product that was developed, which was a virtual puppet. And so you can see in the bottom left corner, the hand is there and there's a sensor underneath it which enables the user to control that puppet on screen. In terms of game interaction technology, here's an example of a games design that was produced. Now this particular student had no prior experience of games development, but then created this product, and this was the initial design idea. And as I've said, mobile and ubiquitous computing I've already spoken about, but it's focused very much on the core technologies as well as interfaces to support these ubiquitous systems. So assessment, as again my colleagues have said, is through a balance of different forms, and these are written reports, potentially examinations, practical courseworks or assessments, and on occasion computer-based assessments, so in-class computer-based assessments. And throughout all of our modules, we have formative assessment as well. So as you go through the modules, you can develop skills, knowledge, and get feedback on that, as well as the kind of summative feedback, which is the formal assessed feedback. In terms of employment, we see our graduates going into a variety of areas, including user experience and being user experience specialists, developers of applications or systems, dealing with data and being data experts, as well as being entrepreneurs. And we see them working, and we do have experience of people working in corporates, in startups, in digital agencies, in Web 2.0 enterprises, and so on. And we've had a lot of our previous graduates from preceding courses in various corporates, agencies, NGOs, and so on. And there's a whole list of companies that our graduates have gone and started or have worked for, including, for example, Google and Microsoft are two of the ones that stand out there. A number of our graduates have also started their own business. And of particular interest that I just mentioned quickly is the last one, Fan Teams. Fan Teams was a social media business which had been started as part of a student project. So the student looked at how they can track fans for a particular rock band. And that was such a successful project that he actually then started a business based on that premise. And he's doing quite well. What do our graduates say? Well, there, for example, is John. John is now a senior UX researcher at Google in Seattle. He was actually based in the UK, but then managed to move to the US, originally from Microsoft, and now he's at Google. And I spoke to him recently, and I understand he's now being promoted to manager within that unit as of the next week. So his kind of view was that he got both the technical and the design skills from taking this course. And therefore, it's really helped him where he is right now. One of our current students is Sharon. And Sharon came from a family where she was the first to get both the degree and the master's. And she came originally from Italy. She's been working here. She's been kind of looking at studying here, and she's developed her skills significantly, as the slide kind of alludes to. As my colleagues have also already said, when can you start? Our course starts in September, both for full-time and part-time. And full-time, it's a 12-month program. For part-time, it's anywhere from 2 to 5 years. And to find out more, there's my email address. There's my LinkedIn profile if you want to find out more about me. And of course, you can contact admissions to get more information about this or any of our other courses that we have within the university.
Okay, thanks for everyone presenting today. What we're going to do is we'll take a few minutes break, but before we do that, I just wanted to talk about the student finance postgraduate loans for home and EU students. So this is a relatively new initiative that was started last year. So as it currently stands for this academic year, UK and EU students can apply for this, and it's a loan of up to £10,000, which is paid over 3 different periods in the year, and are paid directly to you. So you would have to arrange the payment to the university, but obviously having a £10,000 loan is very useful towards paying for the masters. So if you do want to take a look at that, I'm going to include a link right now for you, so you can look at how to apply and more information on how to apply for the postgraduate loan. Right, so we've got a few questions here. So the first question is regarding accommodation. So we have a range of accommodation available, some specifically only for postgraduate students. So they're based all around central London, and we also have some spaces in Wembley as well. So depending on how soon you get in, you might have a few options available to you. So what will happen is when you make the application, the accommodation portal opens in April, and you'll be able to take a look at the options that you have and then apply from there. So what I've done is I've included a link to send to you, and it should be in the chat box now, with student accommodation details. So if you are looking for accommodation, make sure to click that link so you can see the different options available. And then once you've made your application and you've got your offer, you can then start to apply for your accommodation here. Next question is generally about international qualifications. So we've had quite a few people asking what qualifications from internationally we accept. So there's a wide range. We can't cover them all, but on our website, and I'm including a link here now for you, there's a section in the international pages called "Where are you from?" and from there you can look at the individual countries and what qualifications we normally look for when we apply, when we receive applications for these master's courses. So if they don't appear, make sure to email the admissions team, as they will be able to answer those questions and be able to check your application before you make a full application, or you can just try and make an application straight away. We'll be able to make an assessment from there. And another question here about how to apply. So for the full-time courses, you will need to apply via UK Pass or UCAS Postgraduate. So that's similar to UCAS in that you choose your university and you fill out an application form, and that will be sent to us. If you are applying for part-time, those are done through our internal site. So what you would need to do is go to the course page and click on the Apply Now button, and that will take you to the postgraduate part-time application page. And I will also include in the link in the chat box information on how to apply. And the final question today is about scholarships. So again, we've got another link for you here. So the scholarships, the deadline is getting very close. It will be approaching end of April, and you'll need to have an application with us and an offer for us before you can actually make your application for the scholarship. So you'll need to apply right away in order to be in time for the course. So we normally look at things like academic ability, the amount of the financial need, and what you're planning on doing with the degree in respect to kind of your career and kind of, especially for the larger scholarships, making the world a better place. So that's a large part of what the scholarships are about, and you need to send that in you need to kind of get working on that right away if you're looking for a September start. We've just had a question in about would the interaction design and computing course be suitable for someone who's actually studying multimedia undergraduate this year? As this attendee has noted, there's very similar modules, but obviously as part of the course it is a more advanced level, and if you are looking to kind of go into doing the interaction and design computing course after doing a similar course on the undergraduate side, we would recommend A, making an application, B, talking directly to Ashif as well, because his email's there available for you, and he will best be able to kind of assess whether that would be the best thing. And also, I don't know if this attendee is actually from the University of Westminster or from another university, but obviously it depends on which area you're looking to go into within interaction design. As Ashif said, it's a very broad range of options that you can choose from, as well as kind of the entrepreneurial sides of the course. So that brings us to the end of the questions. I'd like to thank the presenters, I'd like to thank the course leaders, I'd like to thank everyone who attended and those who have asked a question. So, without further ado, I will bring the session to a close, and please do get in touch if you are interested in applying for any of these courses. Thanks.